Hey there, I'm Chris Carlisle, and this is the podcast Highways and Byways. This week it's a look at what happened in Texas in 1968. I just got through watching the Royal Rumble before I started recording. It was last Saturday in Tampa. I went and saw it when they had it in Houston 4 years ago. Bailey won the Women's Rumble, and Cody Rhodes for the second year in a row won the Men's Rumble to earn title shots at WrestleMania. It's going to be the Chiefs and the 49ers in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs beat the Ravens in the AFC Championship game on Sunday. And then later on that night, the 49ers beat the Lions in the NFC Championship game. Alright, coming up, I'll tell you what happened in Texas in 1968. Well, they had the World's Fair in San Antonio back in 1968. It was called the Hemisphere 68, and its motto was the confluence of civilizations in the Americas. It was 96 acres. 30 countries took place, as did 15 organizations. It lasted from April 6th to October 6th. A Braniff Airlines flight flying from Hobby Airport in Houston to Love Field in Dallas crashed in Navarro County, killing all on board. In the 1968 presidential election, Vice President Hubert Humphrey carried Texas, but lost the election to former Vice President Richard Nixon. Also, Lieutenant Governor Preston Smith was elected governor in the 1968 governor's race. Central High School in Galveston closed when Ball High School integrated. The Fort Worth Convention Center opened. Astroworld opened in Houston. Alright, coming up, a look at what happened at sports in 1968 in Texas. Okay, in sports that year, Texas A&M beat Alabama 20-16 in the 1968 Cotton Bowl Classic, after they won the Southwest Conference Championship in 1967. The Aggies were coached by Gene Stallings, and Alabama, of course, was coached by the legendary Paul Bear Bryant. Coach Stallings played for Coach Bryant when he was coaching at Texas A&M, and he was one of the Junction Boys. Texas had two franchises in the new American Basketball Association, which started playing the 1967-68 season. They were the Houston Mavericks and the Dallas Chaparrals. Both made the playoffs and lost in the divisional rounds. U of H basketball, led by Coach Guy Lewis and player Elvin Hayes, beat UCLA, led by Coach John Wooden and Lou Alcindor, 71-69. Of course, Lou Alcindor is now Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The game was played in the Astrodome and was the first regular season college basketball game shown on national television, and has been called the game of the century. They also had the MLB All-Star game in the Astrodome later on in that summer. The National League beat the American League 1-0, and Astros player Rusty Staub was on the National League team. The Cowboys lost to the Browns in the NFL Eastern Conference Championship game 31-20. U of H basketball also made it to the Final Four. SMU beat Oklahoma 28-27 in the Astro Woodbine Bowl on New Year's Eve in the Astrodome. The Texas Longhorns baseball team made it to the College World Series. Texas football won the Southwest Conference Championship in 1968 and beat Tennessee in the 1969 Cotton Bowl game. Coming up, we'll look at some other things that happened that year. Also in 1968, the Doors had a concert in Houston. Dr. Denton Cooley performed the first heart transplant in the U.S. in Houston. Miss Nagadoches Diane Huggins was crowned Miss Texas. Actually, the pageant was in 1967. And Jeannie Wilson was crowned Miss Texas USA. We'll be back with the wrap-up. do it for this week. But first, here's a word from the good book. It's from Zechariah chapter 4, verse 6. And it says, "So he said to me, This is the word of the Lord to Zerubbabel. Not by my might, nor by my power, but by my Spirit, says the Lord Almighty." I want to thank you for listening or watching on YouTube. My name is Chris Carlisle. I wrote and produced and hosted this podcast. Be sure to leave a like, a follow, or subscribe on whatever platform you listen to. Until then, see you next time.